What if you're trying too hard? Have you ever felt like the harder you try, the more resistance you face? What if life isn't something to be conquered, but something to be understood? Ask yourself, are you pushing against the current, or are you flowing with the stream of life? Marcus Aurelius and the great Stoic thinkers didn't preach passivity, they taught presence. They didn't escape the world, they aligned with it. If you're on a journey of self-mastery, wisdom, and inner peace, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and join the path of those who choose to live with intention, not impulse. Let's explore what it truly means to flow with life, not force it. 1. The art of allowing. Let things unfold naturally. In a world driven by deadlines, ambition, and constant productivity, the idea of allowing life to unfold naturally can feel like a foreign concept. We are told that success belongs to those who grind relentlessly, who push through every barrier, and who never rest. But the Stoics offer us a different kind of wisdom, one that champions patience, presence, and trust in the natural flow of life. To allow doesn't mean to be passive. It means to recognize that everything has its own timing. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight. It must be planted in the right soil, nurtured with care, and left to grow at its own pace. The same is true for human growth, clarity, and peace of mind. When you rush things, you don't accelerate growth, you often sabotage it. The Stoics believed in aligning with nature. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, wrote, "No man can escape his destiny, the next inquiry being how he may best live the time that he has to live." This is the essence of allowing, living well with what is, rather than constantly straining toward what isn't. Allowing doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the right thing, in the right way, at the right time. This demands a deeper kind of discipline, not of action, but of patience. It means observing reality without judgment, accepting the moment as it is, and making decisions from a place of calm rather than compulsion. When you force life, you introduce resistance. You try to bend outcomes to your will, often without understanding the full picture. But when you act with patience and awareness, you allow life to reveal itself. This creates clarity. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop grasping and start growing. Take relationships, for example. You can't force someone to love you or understand you. All you can do is show up with honesty and integrity and allow the rest to unfold. The same goes for your career, your health, and your inner peace. The more you let go of control, the more life has room to breathe and to surprise you. Allowing is an act of humility. It acknowledges that we don't have all the answers and that we don't need to. It's about trusting the process, even when it's messy or unclear. It's about understanding that just like nature, we too move in cycles: growth, decay, rest, and renewal. So the next time you feel anxious, stuck, or overwhelmed, ask yourself, what am I trying to force? Can I allow this moment to be as it is? Can I act wisely without trying to control everything? Letting things unfold naturally isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the quiet strength of one who knows that true power lies not in domination, but in alignment. 2. Resistance reveals attachment. What are you clinging to? Every moment of resistance is an opportunity to look inward. When we find ourselves frustrated, anxious, or angry, the Stoics teach us to ask a powerful question: what am I clinging? 2. Resistance is not just a reaction, it's a message. It often signals fear of loss, of change, of uncertainty. And at the heart of that fear lies attachment. We become attached to certain outcomes, identities, roles, and expectations. We tell ourselves that we must have a specific result, or that we must be perceived a certain way. When life doesn't comply, we suffer. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasized the importance of distinguishing between what is in our control and what is not. He wrote, "Some things are in our control and others not." When we resist what we cannot control, external events, other people's actions, outcomes, we set ourselves up for frustration. But when we let go of that resistance, we reclaim our freedom. Attachment often masquerades as strength. We think that holding on tightly means we care, that it shows commitment or resolve. But in reality, clinging is rooted in fear. It narrows our perspective and clouds our vision. It keeps us locked in patterns that no longer serve us. For example, imagine someone desperately trying to maintain a relationship that is clearly no longer healthy. Their resistance to letting go isn't love. It's attachment to the idea of what the relationship used to be or what they hoped it would become. That attachment breeds suffering. True freedom comes not from grasping, but from releasing. This doesn't mean we should be indifferent or emotionally numb. It means we should engage with life fully, but without becoming imprisoned by our desires or expectations. It's the difference between caring and clinging. To recognize your attachments, pay attention to where you feel tightness. Is there a situation where you're trying to control the outcome? Are you afraid of what will happen if things don't go your way? These are signs that you're resisting reality, and resistance is a heavy burden to carry. When you surrender that resistance, you create space for peace. You start to see situations more clearly, without the fog of expectation. You act not from fear, but from wisdom. You become more adaptable, more resilient, more aligned with the flow of life. The Stoics teach that the only true possession we have is our character, our virtues, our choices, our responses. Everything else is fleeting. So instead of clinging to what you cannot keep, invest your energy in what you can control. Practice discernment, cultivate inner strength, and most of all, let go of the illusion that you must fight life in order to survive. Sometimes letting go is the bravest thing you can do. 3. The quiet power of surrender. Strength through stillness. Surrender is often misunderstood. In a society that prizes control, victory, and domination, the idea of surrender can seem weak or passive. But in the Stoic tradition, surrender is not defeat, it is clarity. It is the decision to stop struggling against reality and instead flow with it. To surrender is to recognize what is outside your control and to let it go, not with bitterness, but with wisdom. It is the act of turning inward and asking, where can my energy be best used? What truly matters in this moment? The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This is the heart of surrender. It's not about giving up. It's about choosing peace over struggle, insight over ego. Surrender doesn't mean inaction. It means intentional action. It's about knowing when to step back, when to rest, when to let events unfold without interference. It's about trusting that life, like a river, knows how to flow, even when it takes turns you didn't expect. There is tremendous strength in stillness. In a quiet mind, we find answers we cannot hear when we are frantically grasping. In stillness, we return to ourselves. We remember what matters. We reconnect with our inner compass. When you stop forcing outcomes, you make space for something deeper. Peace, presence, and wisdom. You begin to see the world not as an enemy to conquer, but as a teacher. Even hardship becomes a guide, not because it's easy, but because it reveals what you're made of. The Stoic path is one of discernment. It's knowing when to act with courage and when to yield with grace. It's trusting that your inner character matters more than external success. It's choosing to grow, not through aggression, but through awareness. In the end, surrender is not weakness, it is mastery. It is the power of a person who is no longer ruled by fear or ego. It is the strength of one who has found peace, not in controlling life, but in aligning with it. Let go, be still, and watch how life begins to flow again. 4. When patience is strength, the calm before right action. Patience, often mistaken for passivity, is in fact a form of strength, a conscious and deliberate restraint that allows wisdom to emerge before action is taken. In the teachings of Stoicism, patience is not a silent waiting game. It is a discipline that sharpens our perception and tempers our impulses. It is the power to hold still while the world rushes past, to remain composed while emotions threaten to take control. To the Stoics, patience was an active state of being, an intentional decision not to react immediately, but to observe, understand, and then act from a place of clarity. This doesn't mean never acting or resigning oneself to apathy. It means choosing not to be ruled by urgency or emotion. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, encapsulated this with profound simplicity. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Nature does not rush, yet its movements are sure and inevitable. The rivers flow, the seasons change, and the stars continue their courses, all with quiet, unstoppable grace. In our fast-paced modern world, patience can feel like a weakness. We are constantly bombarded with messages urging us to hustle, to move faster, to respond immediately. The expectation is that productivity and speed are signs of strength. But the Stoic mindset sees things differently. What is stronger, the person who reacts impulsively under pressure, or the one who can pause, assess, and act deliberately? Think of a skilled archer. They do not release the arrow in haste. They take their time, breathe, steady their hand, and aim. Only when everything aligns do they let go. Patience is the bow drawn taut. It is the stillness before the release. And when it is time to act, the action is powerful, purposeful, and effective. Patience protects us from regret. How many words have we spoken in anger that we wished we could take back? How many decisions have we made in haste that led to unnecessary hardship? The Stoics taught that every moment of decision is an opportunity to practice virtue, to ask ourselves, is this the right time? Is this the right action? Am I being led by reason or by emotion? Urgency is the language of fear. When we feel threatened or uncertain, we often feel the need to do something, anything, to regain control. But this urgency often leads to poor choices. It is rooted in the fear of being powerless or the anxiety of uncertainty. Patience, on the other hand, is the voice of strength. It tells us, you don't need to know everything now. You don't need to act now. You only need to remain steady. A patient person is not without feeling. They simply know how to process their emotions before acting on them. They create space between stimulus and response. That space is where freedom lives. The Stoics often referred to this space as the seat of reason, where one can reflect and ensure that their actions align with their values, not with their passing emotions. It's also important to note that patience doesn't mean inaction. It means waiting for the right moment to act. A general doesn't rush into battle at the first sign of conflict. They strategize. They assess the terrain. They understand their opponent. Only then do they strike. The same principle applies to life's challenges. Not every obstacle requires immediate confrontation. Sometimes the wisest move is to wait, to gather strength, to learn, and then act when the odds are favorable. To cultivate patience, one must also practice humility. We must accept that we do not control the timeline of the universe. We are participants in a larger pattern, and our attempts to force outcomes often backfire. By surrendering the need to control everything, we gain the freedom to act from a place of composure. Patience, then, is not passivity. It is preparation. It is the mental and emotional readiness to act rightly when the time comes. And when we are grounded in patience, our actions become extensions of inner wisdom, not reactions to external pressure. Like the calm eye at the center of a storm, patience gives us clarity in chaos. So let us remember, to be patient is not to be idle. It is to be prepared. It is to trust that by staying centered, we will know when to act. And when we do, it will be with strength, intention, and wisdom. 5. Living with open hands. Let go to grow. In a world that encourages control over outcomes, people, and even time itself, the Stoic approach offers a liberating alternative. Live with open hands. To live with open hands is to embrace life's uncertainties, to give without expectation, and to accept without resistance. It is the understanding that we are responsible for our actions, but not for the results they produce. At the heart of this philosophy lies a powerful truth. You cannot control how others think, what they feel, or how they act. You can't force love, loyalty, or success. The tighter you grip, the more things slip through your fingers. In trying to force outcomes, we create suffering, not just for others, but for ourselves. The Stoics taught that peace and strength come not from domination or control, but from self-mastery. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Realize this, and you will find strength." Living with open hands means accepting this reality and acting in harmony with it. Imagine trying to hold water in your hand. If your hand is open and relaxed, the water rests gently in your palm. But if you clench your fist, the water escapes. The same is true for relationships, goals, and expectations. When we grasp too tightly, out of fear, insecurity, or desire, we push away the very things we hope to keep. This doesn't mean giving up on life or becoming indifferent. It means engaging fully, doing your best, giving your all, but then releasing your attachment to how things should turn out. It means shifting your focus from results to values, from outcomes to effort. Living with open hands is an act of courage. It requires you to trust that you can handle whatever life brings. You still plan, you still dream, but you let go of the illusion that you can dictate life's course. This openness creates room for growth, for yourself and for others. It invites new possibilities, deeper relationships, and unexpected joys. It also fosters resilience. When you live with clenched fists, every setback feels like a failure. But when you live with open hands, setbacks become opportunities, lessons that shape and refine your character. You're no longer thrown off course by disappointment because you weren't trying to control the path in the first place. You were simply walking it with intention. Living with open hands also means letting go of resentment, bitterness, and the need for revenge. These emotions are heavy, and they keep us trapped in the past. By letting go, we free ourselves to move forward. Forgiveness, both of others and of ourselves, is a powerful expression of this open-handed living. In relationships, this mindset can be transformative. It means loving without possessiveness, supporting without manipulation, being present without demanding reciprocity. It means recognizing that others are on their own journey, and the best thing we can offer is acceptance and understanding, not control. This approach also cultivates gratitude. When we stop demanding that life fit our expectations, we begin to appreciate it as it is. We notice the small blessings, The moments of connection, the quiet beauty that was always there but often overlooked. Open hands receive, clenched fists repel. The Stoics believed that true strength is quiet, grounded, and self-contained. It doesn't need to dominate others to feel secure. It finds peace in adaptability and strength in surrender. This doesn't mean weakness. It means resilience. It means knowing that no matter what happens, you will remain centered, because your peace does not depend on external circumstances. So, live with open hands. Let go of the need to control, and in doing so, discover a deeper kind of power, the power to grow, to adapt, to love, and to live fully. In the letting go, you gain everything that matters: clarity, freedom, and inner strength. Trust the flow. Trust yourself. What if everything isn't falling apart, but falling into place? The Stoics didn't promise comfort. They offered clarity. They taught us that life isn't a war to win, but a rhythm to dance with. When you stop forcing and start flowing, you align with something deeper than your ego. You align with nature itself. So next time you're tempted to push, pause, breathe, ask, what is life showing me here? And remember, you are strongest, not when you're in control, but when you're in alignment. Subscribe to keep walking the path of growth, wisdom, and resilience. Flow with life. Don't force it. See you in the next one.